Hello. Welcome to Abhiram IAS Academy. Myself, I'm Vishnu Sir. I teach economy for UPSC. I've been teaching for UPSC for the last 10 years. So, in this class, we'll be discussing what is expected of you for economy, how a candidate is supposed to prepare for UPSC, what is expected for prelims, what is expected for mains. So, welcome to economy orientation session at Abhiram IAS Academy. So, let's understand first in UPSC prelims, in general studies paper 1. So, around 15 to 20 questions will be asked from Indian economy. In general studies mains paper 3, GS paper 3, around 140 plus marks would be asked from Indian economy. So, in every subject, how UPSC expects. Similarly, in economy also, the approach toward the exam requires integrated approach of CCC. So when I say integrated approach of CCC, study a topic from both prelims cum mains approach. Meaning, unlike our degree exam, PG exam, every topic is important for the exam. Every topic you should have holistic understanding and interlinking. So in economy, CCC approach stands for concepts, current affairs, and current data. Concepts, current affairs, current data. So to understand the concept, first we need to know the basic terminology. That's the reason why we'll generally suggest summary of NCERT books, and most probably you can start reading NCERT terms: demand, supply, cost, price. So inflation, fiscal policy, monetary policy, money, types of money. So basic terminology plus how this concept works. It's not just enough if by heart a definition. You should also know how logically, rationally it works. Then current affairs. Every day when you read the paper, some economic current affairs will be there. So you should know the logic why that is happening. Like for every current economic issue, there is a static part related to it. Suppose if you're reading newspaper, imported inflation, there is a word. You should understand two words. What is import? What is inflation? So how is it going to impact? So for every current affairs in the newspaper, there is a static concept related to it. So we should be thorough with both static as well as current. Current data. So this is about official data released by government, which we get from budget, economic survey. Plus, we also get some official statistics given by government agencies such as Niti Aayog, PIB, Press Information Bureau. So for prelims and mains from economy, you should know basic concepts, current affairs and current data. So if you look at in prelims, there is no clear defined syllabus, but in mains, there is a clear defined syllabus for economy. Economic growth and development in India is what they call it as. By looking at last 10 years of PYQs, both of prelims as well as for the mains, we try to understand how economic growth and economic development happens. So broadly, the syllabus can be classified into the following chapters. I mean to say, when can you say that this UPSC preparation is complete? If you are thorough with all the chapters, static, current affairs, and you make a revision notes of each of the topic, your preparation is done to the exam. So just to summarize, the entire economy syllabus is classified into the following modules, we call it as. So chapter 1 is national income. So what is income? What is transfer payment? What is GDP? What is GNP? What is NDP? What is NNP? Potential GDP, green GDP, nominal GDP, real GDP, demographic dividend, demographic disaster. So these are prelim themes from this chapter, and main themes are inclusive growth, changes that happen in estimation of national income, methods of estimation of national income, precautions and limitations of estimation of national income. And current data and current affairs. NSO, estimations about national income. IMF giving C rating to NSO. All this will be covered in the chapter called national income. So this is important for both prelims as well as for mains. Sometimes they're asking in prelims sectoral contribution of primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. So this is in brief about national income chapter for prelims as well as for mains. So next important topic for prelims as well as for mains is inflation chapter. In Hindu newspaper, every month we are going to read two indexes: wholesale price index, consumer price index. The government started something called pilot project of PPI, producer price index, types of goods, causes of inflation, impact of inflation, demand side, supply side. So creeping inflation, walking inflation, running inflation, galloping inflation, types of goods, impact of inflation positively, impact of inflation negatively, consumer price index rural, urban, consumer price index estimations, inflation targeting, monetary policy committee. So all these are related to inflation chapter. So to control inflation, to reduce the price burden, how government is taking appropriate measures, how central bank is taking appropriate measures. That's what will be covered in the chapter called inflation. Then one more examiner's favorite topic is monetary policy. So in this chapter we are going to cover what is money, what are types of money, near money, dear money, hot money, cold money, hard money, soft money. So what are changes that happen in estimation of money, M1, M2, M3, M4, latest being cryptocurrency, central bank digital currency, Bitcoin, black money, blood money, monetary policy committee, repo rate, reverse repo rate, CRR, SLR, MSF, SDF, open market operations. So in monetary policy, how central bank tries to control inflation, how central bank tries to accelerate GDP growth through money supply. What are quantitative tools, what are qualitative tools, monetary policy committee, that will be studied in this particular chapter. You will get a comprehensive understanding of how money gets circulated in the economy through this chapter. Now coming to chapter 4, financial market. And I am taking a little bit liberty here and I am trying to tell this is important for prelims. So till now, luckily mains question is not asked. So this is about capital market, money market, stock market, shares, bonds, mutual funds. So how stock market reacts to financial sentiments, different types of shares, different types of bonds, different types of mutual funds, and how savings will become investment, how circular flow of money is possible through different financial securities. Now next more important chapter in economy is banking and RBI. Again, this is important for both prelims as well as for mains. So when I say this, you need to understand bank, types of bank, definitions of bank, types of ATMs, types of services. And whenever we talk about, we should understand banking settlement systems, payment and settlement systems, RTGS, NEFT, IMPS, loans and advances, types of assets, NPA, insolvency bankruptcy code, bad bank, small finance bank, payment bank, bank license, payment bank crisis, HDFC bank crisis, recently Bank of Baroda, cyber crime data or cyber frauds. So this will create a fundamental understanding which we call it as first pillar in the economy. At the end of each chapter, you should make a revision notes and try to solve PYQ prelims and PYQ mains so that you are ready for the exam. So once we are done with this basic principle of block 1, we call it as, we will go to block 2 or we will go to second module, so which is called as second pillar of economy. So most likely, if you look at, this is also examiner's favorite, taxation. So what is tax, what is duty, what is cess, what is surcharge, what are direct taxes, what are indirect taxes, how GST is working, what are the challenges we faced in GST, 101 CAA. So what is the difference between CBDT and CBDC? Why many IRS officers are resigning nowadays due to the reforms introduced in taxation? What is faceless assessment? All these are part of the chapter, important for both prelims as well as for mains. Again, related topic is fiscal policy. So what is fiscal policy? How fiscal policy is formulated? So what are the various types of deficits? revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, effective revenue deficit, primary deficit. Apart from that, how government gets income, how government spend the money, and finance commission recommendations, 16 finance commission, horizontal devolution, vertical devolution. So which will lead us to a topic called budgeting. What is budget? What is economic survey? How budget is prepared? What are the types of various budget? What is the procedure involved in budgetary mechanism? All. So in simple, the essence of the chapter is, as an officer tomorrow, how you are going to generate income from the public and how you are going to use that money for public welfare. So again, important for prelims as well as for mains, FRBM Act, Finance Commission, types of deficit, deficit financing, other regular repeated themes from this particular chapter. So this is called as block 2, second pillar for the economy. Now similarly, once we are done with these, then related important chapters and whose significance got increased because of recent international issues. So they are external sector. What is open economy? What is closed economy? What is closed door economy? Appreciation, depreciation, devaluation, fixed exchange rate system, managed exchange rate system, floating exchange rate system, how international trade happens. So why India faced BOP crisis 1991? How did we come out of it? LPG reforms. So liberalization, privatization, globalization, and how Indian economy got transformed itself from Hindu growth rate to one of the fastest growing economies of the world. In simple, India's trade with the rest of the world, whether it is positive or negative, the evaluation will be done in this chapter. We are going to cover very simple concepts: current account, capital account, BOP, forex reserves, liberalized remittance system, FERA, FEMA. All these are part of external sector. Then we are going to cover foreign trade. So here, regularly keep reading the paper. Concepts are important for prelims as well as for mains. Free trade agreement, CECA, CEPA, customs union, economic union, foreign currency. So why Indian currency is depreciating? What are the reasons for it? How global trade is impacting us? Why India is signing strategic partnership agreement with several countries now? All this. And one very important topic for prelims, international economic organizations. So regularly questions are being asked from IMF, World Bank, WTO, BRICS Bank, NDB, New Development Bank. So what is the difference between World Bank and IMF? And what are part of World Bank? What are part of World Bank Group? IBRD, IDA, IFC, MIGA, ICSID. What is the differences in terms of functioning of IMF and World Bank? Why did India become member of all the World Bank but not all World Bank Group institutions? So in simple, the third module is about Indian economic interaction with the rest of the world. So this is what we call it as external sector, foreign trade, international economic organizations. It will lead us to one very important aspect which is explicitly mentioned in the syllabus itself. So which we call it as module 4, specified for mains. When I say specified for mains, it does not mean that you don't come for prelims. In prelims schemes, overview is important. In mains, themes are important. So when I say themes, you should understand. So probably agriculture, regular repeated question, compulsorily 50 to 60 marks are being asked from agriculture. So land reforms, seeds, water, fertilizers, irrigation. So latest being several schemes launched by the government. PM Kisan is being extended again, and subsidies, farmer suicides, loan waiver, green revolution, evergreen revolution. So GMH 11, Dara mustard hybrid 11, GM crops. Apart from that, climate resilient agriculture, stubble burning issue faced by the farmers. And do you really think that structural reforms are introduced in agriculture, fisheries, food processing? So different types of green revolution, different types of agricultural aspect will be covered in this chapter. Most important, 60 plus marks would come in the mains from a single chapter called agriculture. Similarly, specified chapter for mains is industry. So again, Industrial Policy Resolution 1948, 56, 77, 1980, 1991. At present, Semicon 2.0, automobile industry, toy industry. So, how industrial sector is performing overall? This is what is called as industry. And then investment models. This is purely mains topic only. Public-private partnership, different types of public-private partnership, Harrod-Domer model. So, what is Singh-Rao Singh model? Meaning, should we hand over the resources completely to the government, or completely to the private, or partly by the government, or partly by private? So, this is exclusively important for mains. Even though exclusively it is mentioned as mains, for prelims, micro themes are asked sometimes in the exam. So this is core of GS paper 3 mains, because out of 140, around 60 plus will come from this. Now, once we know this, the related important topics again, poverty and unemployment. So what is poverty? What is unemployment? What are the dimensions of the poverty? Absolute poverty, relative poverty, subcultural poverty, multidimensional poverty, poverty estimations, poverty indicators, poverty committees, poverty eradication programs. Why for the last 77 years we are not able to eradicate poverty despite welfare policies? Unemployment. What is unemployment? What are the types of unemployment? Why unemployment is being caused? Why unemployability? Periodic labor force survey and unemployment report. Can we trust the government data on unemployment? Why unemployability is related to labor force, demographic dividend, per capita income, unemployment eradication programs. All this will be studying in this particular chapter. Again, important for prelims as well as for mains. So, of late, the questions asked from planning got reduced in UPSC and more weightage is given for Niti Yog chapter. Mains also, prelims also. Niti Yog, constitution of Niti Yog, functions of Niti Yog, comparison and Niti Yog reports. So this is the essence of the chapter. Most likely questions are asked for mains. Then infrastructure, roadway, railway, aviation, plus recently Bhogapuram International Airport is inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister. Why government is giving so much importance for aviation connectivity? Multimodal logistics, PM Gati Shakti. So why every infrastructure story is the story of the people? So as our Honorable Prime Minister said, not only a person with suit should fly, but also with a person with normal slippers also should be able to fly. So Udan, Uday Desh Ka Aam Nagarik, different schemes introduced by the government for welfare of infrastructure. So apart from that, service sector. So service sector separately is not covered. However, overview of service sector is required for mains exclusively, because examiner is asking why India is called as office of the world. What is India's contribution to global supply chain? Why Indian IT sector, IT enabled services, business process outsourcing is known across the world. So why China is probably called as factory of the world? Why India is called as probably office of the world? So in simple, if you are thorough with all these micro themes and macro themes, concepts plus current affairs plus current data, plus if you made a revision notes for each of them, roughly for 2-3 pages for each of the chapter, probably your economic preparation is done. So what is the ideal way? Ideal way is first start reading basic terms, probably from NCERT or summary or State Telugu Academy books also fine. After reading basic terminology, you should try to understand the link of the concept. So don't try to by heart economy definitions. So try to understand the concept. And once you understand the concept, link them with the daily newspapers or current affairs. And then try to make a revision notes for each chapter. At the end of each chapter, try to solve PYQ prelims themes and try to make a rough sketch of the answer for PYQ mains themes. So maybe first time when you read and try to revise and try to solve, you may not be able to solve all the questions. But second time when you read and revise, you'll be able to solve more questions. At least 3 times when you complete the revision and reading, you will be able to solve most of the questions. So don't make it complicated. It's very simple. So unnecessarily don't burden yourself with so much of market dumping, but just try to focus on what is required for the exam. So at the end of each chapter, if you have your own revision notes, you have solved previous year prelims questions, you are ready with PYQ mains, you are ready with expected themes. See, the idea of teaching or coaching is to create a spark in your mind, to create self-learning in your mind, to understand what is it, how is it working, and by looking at the last 10 years of the question paper, you should be able to understand what are the repeated themes and what are the current related themes and what is the expected theme. Once you get this in your mind, so nobody can stop you. And anyway, UPSC is a long journey, so it's not over till it is over. So we should get updated with basics, current affairs, and we should never stop in the middle of this journey just because of some obstacles. So finally, we have to reach our dream place. Probably our roll number should come in the holy PDF list. So thank you. This is what is about a brief idea about how to prepare for UPSC and for state services. See, in state services, yes, we have state component also. For example, AP economy, AP agriculture, AP industry, AP services, AP GDP statistics. Telangana economy, they have clearly specified. So Indian economy is same for both. However, state economy, you have to add state specific data. So this is all for how one should approach economy for UPSC scientifically, holistically, rationally and logically. So thank you.